In my last video, we installed Proxmox on an actual physical system directly from scratch. Now, if you need any help installing Proxmox, go check out that video. It'll be a huge help to you. But before we actually start using Proxmox, there's a few important steps that you're gonna want to take to have a much better experience using Proxmox. There's specifically 3 steps that we're going to be talking about. And I'm going to be going over those today. This is B from Tay Talk Tech, and today I'm going to be talking to you all about setting up Proxmox after installation, so stick around. I have a favor to ask. If you like this type of video and want to see more content like it, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell button for notification. Also, don't forget to give this video a like if you like it. Let me know what you liked, didn't like, or if you have any comments, questions, concerns, or emotional outbursts down in the comment section below. And lastly, stick around all the way to the end to get the most out of this video. Let's do this thing. So the first thing that we're going to need to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and get over to the web access of Proxmox. And I covered this in my intro video. I'm sorry, my installation video in the previous one. So go check that one out if you want more information. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go to our actual Proxmox server IP address, and we're going to do :8006 because that's the port that the service you access the service on. We're going to hit enter. Now you may get a warning message that says, "Hey, risk ahead. Just go ahead and accept the risk and move forward." But yeah, we're going to go ahead and input this, input our credentials here. And the first thing you'll notice is that we did get a subscription missing message directly from the portal. So, this step that we're going to be talking about here is not required. And keep in mind, the free version does not require a subscription to use it. But one thing they will do is they will limit the features that are available. They'll limit support. And you're also going to get this message every single time that you log in, which is pretty annoying. Personally, like I just get annoyed by it, so I want to remove it, but you don't have to. So that's going to be solely up to yourself. We're actually going to be talking about getting rid of this message first. So let's go ahead and click OK. For whatever reason, mine doesn't like to, it just freezes every time this thing comes up. So I'm just going to refresh and then it goes away. So I have no idea why it does that. Okay, so let's go ahead and actually talk about making the changes to the system to get rid of that subscription needed message. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to come down here to PVE or whatever you've called this. That's the default. I just left it at that. We're going to need the command line to do this. So you have one of 2 ways to access that. You can either do it here through your actual virtual instance, or you can do it through the shell here. Or the other way that you can do it is you can do it through SSH, which is the way I have chosen to do it because I find that easier. Now, one of the things first things you're going to want to do is just do apt install vim if it's not already installed. Now, you don't have to use this. You can use any text editor that you want. Vim doesn't come installed by default, so that's why I have it installed here. But that's what I'm going to be referencing when I'm making some adjustments to files. So just keep that in mind. So let's go ahead and clear this out. Now, the first thing that we need to do is we're going to need to go ahead and go to a very specific directory here on the system. This one right here, it's user share JavaScript Proxmox widget tool, and basically this is going to be the directory where the file that's referenced for that little pop-up is actually held. So let's go ahead and look here. This is the file right here that we're actually going to be manipulating to go ahead and get rid of that. So the first thing that we're going to want to do, though, is we're going to want to make a backup of that file. So the reason we want to do that is because there's a lot going on in that file and it controls a lot of things, and we want to make sure that we don't lose access to certain things. So, whoops. Put that there for my notes. Let's get rid of that. You don't need that part. So we just want to stop it right here. All right, so we're going to use the copy command, which is CP. This file right here is going to be the actual file that we want to copy. And we're going to go ahead and copy that into this file name here. Now you'll notice that I just put a .back on the end. That's not required. You can call it really anything you want. You could literally just put backup if you wanted to, but it's pretty common for Linux users to actually just use the BAK extension at the end so that they know it's a backup file. So we're going to go ahead and hit enter. Perfect. And that has been updated. All right, so let's go ahead and actually go in there and manipulate that file. So we're going to go ahead and vim into it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do a // and then we're going to type in ext dot MSG. Just type it in exactly as I'm putting it here. We're looking for a very specific spot within the file. All right, there we go. That's not the one. So if you don't, so it took us here first, right? So once you type this in, just hit enter, and it's going to go ahead and do the search. Now, this isn't what we're looking for. Looks like it happens a few different places throughout the file. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit lowercase n to see if it takes us down to the next one, and it doesn't. So let's hit n again. And this is the one that we're looking for here. So you can hit, when you're searching the document, after you do the forward slash, you put in your query, and then you go ahead and enter. And then to go ahead and shift through those, you're going to use n, and then you're going to use lowercase n to go forward searches, and you're going to use capital N to go back searches. So we had to do it 4 times here in this case. And it's actually right here. This is the one that we're looking for. And you know you're at the right one because you're going to see this. You're going to see the ext.message.show, and then you're going to see title, get text, no valid subscription. So this is the one that we're like, make sure you see this right here so you don't update the wrong part because that could end up breaking your web access. So just make sure. All right, so what we're going to do here is, since we're on there, we're going to go ahead and hit I to go ahead and go in here so we can actually enter text. And we're going to go over here and we're going to just remove this. And we're going to type in void, V-O-I-D. All right, so once you've typed in void in that spot, we're going to hit escape. And we're going to go ahead and do colon WQ, and we're going to do exclamation point. Colon allows us to go ahead and enter these little Vim commands, and we're going to put in W, which is to write, Q, which is to quit, and exclamation point to say, hey, we're getting out of there, don't ask us to confirm. So, and there we go. We've got that done. So the next thing that we need to do is we need to go ahead and actually restart the service. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put in a specific command, systemctl restart pve proxy.service. The systemctl command allows us to manipulate the systemctl services. And we're going to be able to go ahead and restart this one because we need that to go ahead and take effect, because as of right now, it's actually working off the old file. We want it to work off the new file. So let's go ahead and hit enter. It may take a second to go ahead and update. So don't worry if it hangs just a little bit. All right, there we go. Now let's go ahead and go back. And what we're going to do here is, it should be updated now. We're going to go ahead and log out. Whoops. Let's go ahead and refresh. Let's log out. And there we go. See, we didn't get that update this time. So yeah, there you go. I had to actually refresh it first. So make sure that you go ahead and refresh it and then go ahead and sign in. Now, keep in mind that all browsers work a little bit differently. So you may actually have to go to the steps of clearing your cache and history and stuff like that. So just keep that in mind. That you may have to do that to get it to work. I didn't have to do that though. So all right, so yeah, that actually right there takes care of that. Pretty simple. So the next thing though that we're going to do is we're going to need to go ahead and talk about adding some community subscription repos. So I don't know after you installed your instance if you actually did any updates, but if you come here to the updates tab, you can actually see here it says, warning, the enterprise repository is enabled, but there is no active subscription. So because we have no subscription, we're not going to have access to these features, right? These repositories. I shouldn't say features, I should just say repositories. So what we need to do is we need to go in there and actually add a community repo that will give us access to the things that are here, and then get rid of these. Because what's going to happen is if we try to update, and we're going to do it through the command line, because you can do it through here by just doing the reload and all that stuff, just following using the commands here, but I like doing it from the command line. So just gonna do this, and I'm just gonna do a CD. And if you're not familiar with CD, if you just put in CD with no destination, it's gonna take you back to your home directory. So I just don't want that long path in there. It makes it a little bit easier and cleaner for you guys. So let's go ahead and do that. So if we do an apt update, you're gonna notice few things here. You're getting errors. It says failed to fetch this enterprise, which Quincy delist. I'm sorry, dist bookworm in release unauthorized. So yeah, we're getting these errors, and we want to get rid of them. We want to be able to have access to as many possible services as we can. Now, Proxmox themselves and a lot of other people recommend not using the community repo in production, but I've never had any issues with it. I'm not going to sit there and say don't use it. I'm not going to say do use it, but just keep that in mind. It's something that's kept up by a community of people, and there's always a potentiality for that community to fall apart. So just do with that information what you will. But yeah, we want to go ahead and try to get rid of that. So we're going to have to make a few updates here to a few files, so apt gets rid of that. So let's go ahead and start doing that. So the first thing that we're going to want to go ahead and do is we're going to want to go to the sources.list file. So let's go ahead and put this in here. We're going to use them again, and we're going to go to Etsy app, which is where a lot of this, like a lot of the files and stuff like that, are for the apt utility. So we're going to go ahead and hit enter, and these are the defaults right here. These right here are all just Debian updates. So your core operating system is going to be secure, so you don't have to worry about, oh my God, am I not going to get security updates? No, you're going to get those updates directly from the Debian repositories, which is great. But what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to go ahead and add the community repository. Now, one thing I do recommend doing anytime you add anything to a file is just adding a hashtag and then doing adding community repo, and just give like a little explanation of what it is, what you're doing. So like, if somebody else comes after you, they know what you're doing, or you come back like months or years later and you're like, what was I doing here? Because you're not going to know any of the updates. And you could even just do like if you want to timestamp it, you can just do like this 10/12/2024. And then it's like, hey, I added this date. So easy peasy. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually go in here, and we're going to need to actually add specific line here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down to the next one, and we're going to do this. And make sure you update this. Make sure yours matches Bookworm, because Bookworm is the current release of Debian. So we want to make sure you're you're accessing the right repositories. So then we're just going to do this one right here. This has got this PVE no subscription. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and hit escape :WQ, just like we did in the last one, an exclamation point. And we're going to go ahead and exit out of there. So we've got that updated. Now, we've got a couple of other files that we're going to need to make just some slight adjustments to, so we can get rid of those errors. So we're going to want to go ahead and go here. And yes, I am copying and pasting the commands because I'm just lazy. So, and I've got them all pre-listed out here in my notes. So we're going to come to this directory, and then the next thing that we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and go into the PVE enterprise.list file. Now, you can make backups of these files if you want. It's up to you. I don't usually, but if you're not experienced, I do recommend doing that. We already went over how to do that in the previous step. Just kind of use the same formula or steps to use for that. So let's go ahead and go into this one right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and once we're inside, we're going to hit I. We're going to go ahead and put a hashtag there, and you see that it changes colors. We're going to do the :WQ. There we go. That's going to take care of that. Now we need to do it to one more file, which is the ceph.list file. In previous versions, there was only one file. Now there's two. So we have to make sure we do it in both places so that we don't have those errors. Whoops, and we're going to hit, I, and then we're going to go ahead and do hashtag, and then we're going to hit escape :WQ, exclamation point, and those have been updated perfectly. Now with this one, we don't actually have to do any kind of like service update, but help if I typed in app update, because that updates pretty quickly. And now all of those are gone. And to be able to go ahead and actually complete your update here, and you can do this anytime that you need to, is you do apt dist update. Whoops, I'm sorry. For this one, we'll just do Oops, I'm sorry, I spelled it wrong. Dist upgrade, not disit. Uh, yeah, and then there we go. And we're just going to do yes, and then it'll be able to go ahead and go through all of those. No errors, and you're going to get everything that you need. So that is some cool stuff. Now it's gonna finish updating. We're gonna come back here, so hopefully by the time we're done, it'll all that stuff will be completely updated. So let's go ahead and exit out of here. We're just gonna go ahead and go back over here to this, and it will eventually update here. Let me try to refresh it and see if it's already updated. Yeah, see, there we go. See, these are gone. See, these are not active. And then see here, we got PVE no subscription component. So adding community repo. See, it even added a comment. See, that's pretty cool, right? I think it's cool. Every time that like I put in like some kind of code or something like that, and it does that, I'm just like, oh my god, this is so cool. So yeah. Now there's one additional thing that we're gonna need to go ahead and look at. And I always for I don't use I haven't used Proxmox regularly in a while, but we want to go ahead and look at storage. Is it storage? Yeah. No, I'm sorry. Is the summary? No, not that one. Let's see here. Not that one. Is it going here? I think going here. I always forget where this one's at. Okay, sorry about that. I had a brain fart and had to remember where it shows the information about where the storage is located. But here we go. We've got two actual setup here. Two like what Proxmox does by default is it actually separates your storage, and it's between these two volumes right here. Right, we have this PVE, the local, and we have the local LVM. So you look at we have the disk that we're on is 256 gigs, but this one right here, which is where we're going to create our virtual machines from, only shows 72 gigs. We also have this one over here that shows 151 gigs. So, that's putting us more in line with where we need to be, because, yeah, of course, there's going to be space on that disk for the operating system, but we want to try to use as much of that space as possible for our virtual machines. And we actually don't need this partition. So what we're going to actually have to do is we're actually going to have to go in there and actually remove some of the, remove this one right here. So that's nothing too scary. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to go ahead and go back to our SSH instance or your shell instance on if you're doing it through the portal, and then we're going to do a few commands here. LV remove. Whoops. And then we're going to do dev PVE, and then we're going to do, we got a few options here. We're going to do the one that says data. We want to leave the root partition alone. The root partition is fine. Do not delete the root partition, whatever you do. We're going to do data. All right, so we're going to go ahead and remove that. It says, do you really want to remove that? Just say, yep, yes, we do. And it says delete it. The volume called data successfully removed. We're not going to get into what exactly LVM is in this video, but if that's something you want more information about, let me know down in the comments. And I can't remember if I've done videos on those in the past or not, but I could always, if I have, go search my channel for LVM. If they're there, then hey, I've done them. But if not, then let me know, and maybe we can cover that in the future. Get you a little bit more info about that. So the next command that we're going to do is we're going to do lv resize, and then we're going to do tac l, and then we're going to do plus. We're going to do plus sign. We're going to go over and do plus 100% free. We're going to free is capitalized, and then what we're going to do is we're going to do dev PVE, and then we're going to do root. All right, so basically what we're having here is we're just resizing it, and we're going to take up the entire free space. We're like, hey, take all the disk space that's available and put it into this partition. So let's go ahead and do that. And then logical volume, PV resized successfully. Okay, perfect. So let's go back over. Let's do a refresh. And you see here, it is still showing 72 gigs over here. Oh, you know what? I forgot one command. I just realized that. So you can see some stuff that I was trying to run through to kind of get some clarity on it. But we need to run one more command. Resize. I completely forgot about this one. Resize 2FS, and we're going to do dev. Then we're going to do mapper. And then we're going to do PVE root. All right, so let's go ahead and go back to our web browser. And there we go. Now we can see it here. See, there we go. We got 241 gigs. I think it's 256 gig, but some of that depends on conversion and how much we have for the operating system. You can see that this one's still here. You can go up here to the, you should be able to go up here to the data center storage, and then just click on this one right here because we don't need this one. So then we can just hit remove, and then now we're just gonna have that one. Then all we have is a single one, and there we go. See, perfect. It is all done. Sorry about that. It's been a little while since I actually filmed this video between the time that I actually wrote the script and came back. So it's been a little while. I don't run these commands on a daily basis, and this just shows you like, hey, like you're not gonna remember every single command, and things like that. Even putting them in your notes and things like that when you're doing it for a video, but hey, Proxmox is awesome. These things should help make the experience a lot better, especially with this last one with the storage. Now you have full access to the entire size of your disk so that you can go ahead and upload as many virtual machines as your little heart desires. Yeah, so go ahead and if you want to see more video content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Be on the lookout for more from me. Remember, also check out this other video from my channel if you haven't done so already. It'll be queued up for you. Remember, mistakes make you better, so keep on making them. Thank you so much for watching, and have the greatest of days.